After that, I'll get to sit back and enjoy the fruit of my labor. I love when I get a little help with this. I'm so grateful for my employer's contributions. So my $246.57 that's going to my 2021 Roth IRA more than makes up enough of the difference for me to still be contributing 15% of my income. In a recent vid, I shared my 2022 goals, and ever since I've asked myself, but how though? I recently read an article from Her Money, and the heading was Visualize, Analyze, and Materialize. And I thought, this is the exercise I should apply to my goals. Okay, so I visualize what I want to accomplish. I put my goals down on paper. Now on to analyze. I need to now develop action steps to break those goals into actionables and evaluate my progress throughout the year. After that, I'll get to sit back and enjoy the fruit of my labor and the manifestation of my goals for 2022. Let's get to analyzing. Okay, now I have my laptop set up. You may remember this document from November. Back then, I was trying to decide if I should contribute the difference, that 8% to my Roth moving forward, or take the balance needed to max out my Roth and distribute that over the next 10 paychecks. You weighed in. I ended up going with distributing it over those 10 paychecks to give myself a little bit of a break. It was delightful. I'm happy I did that. But now I want to check in with my 2021 Roth IRA and see that I'm on target for meeting this goal. As you know, this is essentially my first goal to complete in 2022. So let's take a look. I'm first going to dust off this 2021 goals progress and update it for 2022 goals. So I took a quick look, and my 2021 Roth IRA balance is at $4,767.19. So if we look over here, I am contributing per pay period $246.57. I have 5 paychecks before April 15th, and that's not counting April 15th, which is actually a payday for me. And you can see that I should max out this amount, staying the course with that contribution of $246.57 per pay period with my 5 remaining paychecks before the April 15th tax deadline. So this is looking really good. Now I have revamped my baby step 4 planned out document, which is what I'm calling it. There was a contribution change with my HSA, and I always want to make sure I'm on track. So what I first figured out was what 15% of my income is. My 401k is going to take up 7% of that, and then the other remaining 8% will need to be divided out over my HSA and my Roth IRA, depending on which I plan to max out first. So my HSA, this is my 2022 HSA, the contribution limit is $3,650. And so if I were to contribute a full amount, that $3,650 for the year, that would make 8%, 4.86% for the HSA, 3.14% for the Roth IRA. That's my 2022 Roth IRA. And though when I made my benefit elections, I had scheduled to contribute that full $3,650, that would have made it $140.38 per pay period. Whenever my employer recalculated it based on what they plan to contribute, I would actually be contributing $100.82 per pay period. And so I double checked with them because I wanted to make sure that was what the adjustment was for. And they said, yes, it is the contribution limit minus our contributions. And then we have evened out the remaining, and that is your contributions, which I'm greatly appreciative of. I love when I get a little help with this. I'm so grateful for my employer's contributions. So yes, but before I had a chance to validate whether or not that was the case, that the adjustment was because they were wanting to make sure I didn't over contribute when adding in their contributions, I mapped this out both ways. So what I did here was I mapped it out with what information I had at the time, and that was that my contribution would be $2,628.38. That makes up 3.49% of the 8%. And then my Roth, my 2022 Roth, would get $3,385.90. That's 4.51% of that 8%. So you can see down here, if I were to roll that out over all of the pay periods within the year. Instead of $140.38 going to the HSA and the Roth, $90.66. Now that I know that my contribution to my HSA is $100.82, I could throw a little more to my 2022 Roth IRA. That would be $130.23 per paycheck. But to max out my 2022 Roth IRA, I would need to look at something more like $230.77, again, to max out my 2022 Roth IRA within the year, within those 26 paychecks. Now, I haven't started contributing to my 2022 Roth IRA. I don't have it on the list to max out this year, but this is always good to know. When things change, I actually have an extra step out there that I can start to pursue by getting that 2022 Roth IRA maxed out within the year, or at least by the 2023 tax deadline. It's just good to know and have this information, especially if I want to stick with baby step 4, which is to make sure to contribute 15% of my income. But again, I haven't quite moved on to the 2022 Roth IRA. So my $246.57 that's going to my 2021 Roth IRA more than makes up enough of the difference for me to still be contributing 15% of my income. So back to the goals progress, we're going to update that document with my HSA information. The contribution limit is $36.50 for 2022, and my current balance is $501.64. I've contributed $201.64. My employer has already contributed $300. I love it. So over here, my deposit will be $182, and with 25 remaining paychecks, it looks like I'll fall around $3,022.14 with only my contributions for the rest of the year. But as I've mentioned, I'm expecting my employer to make their contributions as well. I'll track this throughout the year to make sure they're doing their part and make sure I will hit that contribution limit and max out my 2022 HSA. So as it stands, as far as what the plan is, I'm on track. I'm on track to max out my 2021 Roth IRA by this year's tax deadline. I'm also on track to max out my 2022 HSA. Next, I'm planning to assess my 6-month emergency fund and what's needed to achieve my 12-month emergency fund balance. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think I should run full force toward maxing out my 21 Roth IRA first? The market is a little yikes. Or do both, contribute to my savings and to my Roth at the same time? Or should I say all three? Contributing to my HSA is on automatic. It's a given. If you haven't already, you should go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 5K subbies. Yay! And also hit that notification bell so you know when I post new content. My posting can be a little sporadic. I admit that. So if you have on your notifications, there's a better chance you'll see my latest post. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.